Good morning and welcome back to the Smart Market Insights here on Kalkine TV. I'm Holly and today we're looking at some key takeaways for Australia from the UK's tax and fuel duty cuts. Now, as inflation fears spread across world economies, policymakers face the tough challenge of aligning the economic recovery with people's expectations. And it's no surprise that the supply-side challenges and the war on Ukraine have made for a deadly combination, causing widespread inflationary pressures and an economic slowdown. As a result, the UK has introduced tax cuts to ease the burden on households. But on the contrary, Australians are awaiting potential interest rate rises as the Reserve Bank also eyes rising inflation rates. And with multiple interest rate hikes expected to occur by the end of the year, mortgage holders are concerned about increasing interest expenses. Policymakers in the country could perhaps learn from the British Chancellor Rishi Sunak's spring statement, which was delivered on the 23rd of March. Let's have a look at some key highlights. First of all, on the reduction in fuel duty. Chancellor Sunak announced a reduction in fuel duty by 5 pence a litre for 12 months. This represents the second cut in fuel duty in 20 years, worth over £5 billion. And the Chancellor also further raised the threshold at which workers start paying national insurance by £3,000 a year. He declared a planned rise of 1.25 percentage points as a dedicated funding source for health and social care. And then the VAT for households, VAT that is, who have installed solar panels, heat pumps or insulation, has been scrapped from 5% to 0%. And he also announced that the basic income tax rate would be cut from 20% to 19% in 2024. The income tax cut was not a part of this year's announcement due to the uncertainty in the economy. And Chancellor Sunak stated that the slated income tax cut would be the first in 16 years, and it's expected to come when borrowing and inflation were low. And the government is also expected to cut tax rates on business investments in the autumn budget. The employment allowance for small businesses would be increased to £5,000, which amounts to tax cuts worth around £1,000 for 500,000 small-scale firms starting in 2 weeks. And then there is the Better Household Support Fund. Sunak also added that the Household Support Fund by the government would be doubled to £1 billion. The move is aimed at easing the increasing cost of living for households. And in light of this, the announcement by Chancellor Sunak shows an aggressive push towards improving the cost of living for households. Given the global energy crisis at the moment, a VAT cut to 0 on energy efficiency products could reduce some pressure off of these households. Oil prices have soared as major economies have imposed sanctions on Russia, restricting an already depleted oil supply. While the move was a targeted response to Russia's actions, it's prompted some countries to import oil from alternative sources at a much higher rate. And essentially, this rate rise has spread to the rest of the world, with soaring oil prices being the major pain point facing policymakers. Sunak's initiative of reducing fuel duty by 5 pence has been hailed as an effective way to bring back some affordability into the UK. The cut is said to immediately benefit people, while other measures are likely to take full effect in the long term. The recent changes have been taken with a grain of salt, and have been subject to some harsh criticism. The Chancellor did not raise benefit payments, for instance, urging many people to believe that the only partial efforts have been taken. Critics argue that income tax and fuel duty cuts alongside VAT reductions are less likely to reach the poorest of households, where most people do not even own a car. They suggest that greater attention should have been paid to universal credit or perhaps warm homes discount, which was more likely to benefit the weaker section of society. The tax cut on incomes and business investment would be implemented in the upcoming phases and has not been taken too well by many economic pundits. Sunak's forward-looking policies have received flack from critics who say that these promises have been introduced only to curry favour with voters. And while the fuel cuts seem to be an efficient short-term solution, the UK's vast budget deficit poses a problem in the long term. The Chancellor also mentioned how tax cuts alongside sanctions against Russia could weigh heavily on the national balance sheet. And despite the challenging conditions, any efforts to ease cost of living pressures are likely beneficial. And that is a wrap for now on these Smart Market Insights, but tune in next time only on Kalkine TV. This is Holly Shield signing off.